Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad you like that one. Anyway, speaking of wake up, that's the name of that song. My grandfather had a little wake up a while ago, I tell you. He had to go for one of them triple bypasses. Well, he goes in the hospital and he gets a triple bypass, and the doctor said, "Now, Mr. Willis, when you go home, you got to refrain from any activity whatsoever because it's very dangerous. And after that serious operation," he said, "it could kill you. If you and the missus gets involved in anything, it could kill you." So he goes home and he tells my grandmother. My grandmother said, "Now, my son, the best thing I figures to do is you sleep downstairs, and I'll sleep upstairs in the bed where you and I always sleep." And she said, "That's the best thing to do, because the doctor said we can't do nothing for 6 weeks." I said, "Yes, mate, you got to be safe." So anyway, about 4 weeks went by. My grandmother is at the top of the stairs. My grandfather is at the bottom of the stairs. And she looks down at him and he looks up at her. And she says, "My God, Jack, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, mate, I can't take it no more. I'm coming up to die." He said, "And what are you doing?" She said, "I can't take it no more either. I was coming down to kill you." Well, that's my family there, I'll tell you, the grandfather and grandmother. But anyway, speaking of family, I got to tell you about this friend of mine went and bought this family tree program for his computer. Now, he installed it, and he was telling his buddy, he said, "Now, this family tree program can go back all the way to back 1600s and find out all about your family." His buddy said, "Is that so now?" He said, "Yes, boy, I can do that." He said, "Well, go ahead and ask the computer a question." He said, "All right, then. Ask the computer, where is my father?" So he punched in the computer, "Where is my father?" The computer comes back and said, "Your father works with Syncrude Oil in Fort McMurray, Alberta." But he said, "Ha, some computer program that is." He said, "My father been dead for 10 years. He said, "That ain't working." He said, "Well, rephrase the question." He said, "All right, now ask the computer this. Where is the husband of my mother?" "There's the husband of my mother, ticky-tick." Computer comes back and says, "The husband of your mother has been dead for 10 years, but your father is in Fort McMurray, Alberta." Now, boys, you know how to get even when a fellow tries to steal your wife. Let him have it. I was out in Saskatchewan a while ago, and I saw an ad in the paper. It said, "Wanted, one woman who can cook and sew and owns own farm. Please send picture of tractor." Anyway, boys, I decided to take on a little day job now. Going to try it anyway, and I applied for a job called handyman. But he said, "You know anything about carpentry?" I said, "Nope." He said, "You know anything about plumbing?" I said, "Nope." "Know anything about electricity?" I said, "Nope." He said, "What the hell makes you so handy?" I said, "Lives across the street, boy." Then I walked into a bar and I see this Newfie fella. Goes over, whacks this fella right upside the noggin, knocks him out cold junk. But he gets up and he said, "What do you do that for?" He said, "Because you're Jewish." I said, "So what?" He said, "Because you crucified our Lord." He said, "But that's 2,000 years ago." He said, "Yeah, but I only found out yesterday." Well, let me tell you, when I was a young fella in school, I said, "Boys," one day, teacher says, "Now, boys and girls, I want you to give us a little sentence with the word Osnall in it." So one little girl said, "Well, I fell down and I cut my knee, and my mom put Osnall on it. Made it all better." Teacher said, "That's very good." Young fella says, "Well, miss, I fell off my bike, skinned out my leg. Mom put Osnall on it. Made it all better." "That's very good. How about you down the back there, young fella?" He goes, "Well, miss, when I was home last night, Dad was watching the ball game, and Mom took out the vacuum cleaner, and she started it up. And Dad said, 'If you don't put that vacuum cleaner away, I'm going to shove it up your arse, Osnall.'" Well, this couple of friends of mine had a bloody big spit, see? And he was telling me, he said, "By gee, I tell you, I got her crawling to me on her hands and knees." I said, "Is that right now? What'd she say to you?" She said, "Come out from under that bed, you damn coward." I was talking to this buddy of mine from St. Augustine, Quebec there, Randy. See, I was telling Randy, I said, Randy, my son, look, you should be pulling your shades down every night, leaving your bloody windows wide open like that. I said, last night I saw you kissing your wife right through the living room window. He said, joking on you, Frank, I wasn't even home last night. Now, boys, you ever sit down and say to yourself, I stands all I can stands and I can't stands no more, and turn to your missus and say, kiss me bloody arse, I'm gone.